All right, it's official. We all woke up to the news that John Harbaugh is now HC1 for the Giants. It's head coach one. Joe Schoen and ownership managed to wine and dine, woo him and court him, and now he's going to be the guy in charge of getting the Giants franchise out of the mud. Our NFL reporter for the Post, Ryan Dunleavy, is on for a coaching hire edition of Blue Rush. Ryan, thanks for hopping on with this, man. Early in the morning. Great news. We all woke up to the news that our colleague Paul Schwartz broke late last night. Can you give us everything that you know about how the Giants were able to get Harbaugh to want to be the guy to turn this franchise around?
Sure, you got 45 minutes?
Yeah. The floor is yours,
Brandon,
sir.
It was a full court press, Brandon. That's what they did here. They saw their guy. They had done research on him in the time Brian Daboll was fired until John Harbaugh was fired. So they were prepared, ready to strike. It was a full court press where they had Jackson Dart involved. They had legends like Eli Manning involved. Joe Schoen was nonstop. All the concern that Joe Schoen was going to be a detriment in this search ended up not being true. I think we saw somebody compared to me a little bit like Ryan Poles when Chicago kept him and they still landed Ben Johnson. They saw their guy. They went above and beyond. They're going to give him a massive contract. They're going to give him funds to hire a huge staff, which is his thing. There was literally nothing that was going to stop the Giants. They sent him on a private plane. They tried to get him not to go home last night. They got it done before the Titans could visit Harbaugh's house this morning. They literally saw their guy and they capitalized. And it's kind of, to me, it's a franchise-changing moment. It's a legacy hire for John Mara. It's everybody saw the opportunity and seized it and did what they had to do, which honestly, it could even include Joe Schoen giving up a little bit of his power. There was nothing, I think, that was going to stop the Giants. John Harbaugh could ask for the moon and the Giants would have roped it in.
Yeah, it sounded like Joe Schoen was outside of his house with the whole radio, like playing love songs, like trying to wine and dine and woo him. And you know what, Ryan? If I could learn how to court like that, I wouldn't be single in these streets right now because Giants went full court press. It's also, you mentioned Eli Manning, Jackson Dart being somewhat a part of the process. Obviously, Jackson Dart's development is huge, essential. It's been reported that he's bringing former Ravens offensive coordinator Todd Monken with him. Do you know if Jackson has any relationship with Todd? And was that kind of like a package deal situation?
So they can't bring him without fulfilling the Rooney Rule. So they're going to have to go through a process. They're going to have to interview people. They're going to have to bring in 2 minority candidates. Sure, Todd Monken is the favorite. Obviously, they work together in Baltimore. There's been reports out there that one of the reasons Harbaugh is no longer in Baltimore is his loyalty to Todd Monken. So obviously, he's the favorite. They can't be just rubber stamped. He's hired today. They have to go through the process. Don't know if Dart has a relationship with Monken. I think they might have crossed over in the SEC, like Ole Miss, Georgia at one point. I'd have to check the years. I doubt that the Ravens had Dart in for an interview since they have Lamar, so I doubt that they crossed paths in the NFL. But I have heard that Monken style fits Dart well, like that I have heard that would be a good marriage. So I do think he will be the offensive coordinator eventually, but just like everybody wanted John Harbaugh hired the day that he was fired by the Ravens, you can't do that. You have to go through the process. Same kind of thing with Todd Monken.
You mentioned Ryan Poles going full court press for Ben Johnson. And, obviously having a first-year quarterback there for Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams. It's kind of the same situation with Joe Schoen, Jackson Dart, and now John Harbaugh. You mentioned how that working relationship can or potentially go. Are you hearing anything about Joe Schoen maybe having to give up any of his duties, or is it just status quo for him? These two are going to work together to get things done and turn this franchise around.
I've not heard the final decision. That is the expectation around the NFL, is that he was going to have to give up maybe final approval. I don't know if that has happened. We will find that out soon enough. Joe Shane always preaches collaborativeness. He did with Brian Daboll, but at the end of the day, someone's got to make the final decision, and that was Joe Shane. He was the GM. Giants have always had the GM make final decisions, and John Mara serve as a tiebreaker. I believe John Harbaugh, and this is usual for a coach of his stature. Andy Reid had final say on his roster in Kansas City, and we've seen this before. Sean Payton, where the coach is more powerful. I believe that's what will end up happening here. That's what people around the league expect to happen, but I don't know that it has happened yet for sure.
There's a rumor or something being reported and floated out there that the deal is reported to be 5 years, $100 million. Can you confirm or deny with what you know right now?
That's the expectation. Yeah, that's the expectation. Again, don't know for sure, but he was making about $18 million in Baltimore. He's not taking a pay cut. The Giants are used to paying their head coach in the $5-6 million range. So this is a 3 to 4 time multiple investment for them. Again, they weren't going to be stopped. Like, money was not going to be an obstacle. So yes, I expect it to be somewhere between 90 and 100 million. There'll be incentives for winning Super Bowls and playoffs and stuff like that. But yeah, he's going to be right there with Andy Reid or Mike Tomlin prior or whoever else is up to Sean Payton in the 18 to $20 million a year range.
Lastly, we talk about Jackson Dart's development being a priority, getting the defense to play up to its level of what they are on paper is a priority as well. Defense wins championships. Do you think there's any chance that John Harbaugh brings Wink Martindale back?
Great question. No, I don't. I don't think John and Wink had the kind of explosive relationship that Wink and Daboll had. Even though it didn't end well there, obviously. But I think Wink's issues there were more with Eric DeCosta, the GM, than with John Harbaugh. Still, I think Wink burned enough bridges on the way out of New York that it would be a hard one for him to come back. Keep an eye on him for the Jets DC job. I'll have a story on the website very soon, Brandon, that gives you some DC candidates. Probably Denard Wilson, Anthony Weaver, Zach Orr, Drew Wilkins, a familiar name to the Giants, Charlie Bullen, maybe one or two others. Some Wink proteges, but I don't think it'll be Wink Martindale himself.
Oh, man. Wink bought me a shot one time at the Highwood in Edgewater, New Jersey. Love the guy for that, balling on the budget. But, yeah, we're definitely going to come back to you, Ryan, for those defense coordinator candidates. Appreciate you hopping on with us early this morning.